Good afternoon, good evening. Today is Wednesday. It's the third of a 5-day week. It's August 14th, 2024. Our goal here is to review today's market generated information in a consolidated fashion. We're following the narrative of the auction for both ES and NQ, and we'll compress, track, and review all gleaned information. If we have time, we'll theorize and add additional commentary at the end. Please review our video earlier containing our prep and our live speculation for real-time analysis. This video will contain our hindsight, more objective review of today's action. All right, let's get started. So today we'll start off with our questions. Where's the market coming from? What did the market try to accomplish? And how good of a job did we do it? Was there any surprises? And how do we finish? So to get a good understanding of where we're coming from, I don't believe we need to take a glimpse at the monthly. We can just for a quick check. We are back into those June ranges. Look at the weekly, same situation. Again, quite bullish from a quick glance. And looking at the daily, we actually closed above in that range. We are up in there. Same situation here. Same situation here from the NQ. This was the bear flag that we have been looking at, coming from those pivot lows, and it has indeed broken out to the upside with continuation, and we are holding. The goal of today's auction was the follow-up from the massive impulse up for Tuesday, which caught a lot of people off guard because we had our bull flag breakout. We had our 5-day close at the top, consolidation on Friday, consolidation Monday, and then we popped the lid on Tuesday. And we had a small continuation and a firm close today. So they accomplished their goal of building volume higher, closing above, and we were still one-time framing. Were there any surprises? Can't say so. It was about pretty much balanced action. Taking a quick look at the candles. We'll look a little deeper shortly. So we can see where we close on the daily. We have a good understanding of where we are. We accomplished the goals from the buyer side. Very nice overall. So we will still say that the macro perspective is still bullish. I would like to say, well, the market appears to be saying the intermediate time frame is back to neutral, if not bullish. Bears had definitely lost their positioning and their momentum and the sentiment. And of course, the short time frame would be one time framing up. Take a quick look at what we had on our docket exactly for today, because we did have that CPI information, and that's really all we had today, which was at the 5:30. So we'll look at our reaction shortly. It was a bit interesting. Luckily, I was able to stay objective and get some good information from how we traded after the CPI reaction. I believe we did come in line looking at the actual versus the forecast. So, in as expected result, we'll look at how we traded and the market's response to that information. Looking at the earnings before and after, I did sleep on Cisco. I know they are somewhat important, definitely in the past for sure, but not as strong as they once were, but still important. So not too heavy on the earnings today. And then we have our S&P sector tracker. You can see we're up the actual specifics about 4%. Our only down was about even for utilities, who's been taking a bit of a break from their breaking out. We have communications who were down early in the session, I believe. I believe it was Google that was, yeah, Google. Yeah, Google was down earlier in the day. Same thing with discretionary here. I believe this was Tesla. Amazon was doing decent if I recall. Yeah, Amazon is about even. Tesla's down 3%. Home Depot had their earnings recently, so they're still doing pretty well. So not a good showing from communications and discretionary. Energy, they did pretty well, so I can't laugh at them today. Same with real estate. Nice overall structure, nice overall continuation for industrials and healthcare. I'm assuming Eli Lilly is still pulling. Yeah, up over 2.5%. Same thing with consumer staples with the defensives. They're getting a little bit of love. And technology actually did not lead today, so a very nice showing overall from the breadth. But we'll look at them, I believe, later in the day. They started off out the gate pretty bad, and I believe they started slipping towards the end. So we'll look a little deeper shortly because I'm unsure myself. Star of the day was indeed financials. Excellent showing from them across the board. So nice response to the CPI, I'm assuming. But this is very nice. Very, very good job for financials. Quick time check. We have 6.5. Go ahead and close out of this. So again, we know where we came from. We know what our objective was today, how we did from our overview. Not really too many surprises, really outside of financial kind of leading away, which is nice. Let's look at the specifics for how the day went exactly with our two products. We're about neutral for the delta, above average, not above average. The average is above the prior 2 days, but again, this is still extremely low relatively, and maybe about below average for a typical bull market kind of day that we were seeing in June. This is about average of what we were seeing inside of June. And then we can look at the actual footprint. Again, we had about 50 points of range, 49 to be exact. This was the sellers a little earlier in the day. They couldn't last too much. We ended up being blown out. We pushed above. We ended up taking some profit. Some people offsetting trades, maybe some new positioning for sellers. Buyers definitely fought through to push up, and they were able to hold their ground here. It's a very nice structure, at least overall. Found some nice trading at the highs and absolutely none at the lows. Yeah, point and simple. The only people, yeah, it's not much activity here at the lows, so that pretty much speaks for itself. We'll look at the NQ, same situation here. Very neutral from the delta perspective, a little more compressed. And you can see where this was definitely more of a normal shape profile here. Not much trading at the highs, not much trading here at the lows. We'll need to look at the market profile specifically to kind of see what happened here. Their volume, same thing, more over the past 3 days, but still about average of what we were seeing numbers in June from what you can see down here at the bottom. About half a million contracts traded. All right, cool. So let's look at the NQ. So I added this zone here and here in the middle. Well, actually, it was this one right here, which is our weekly VPOC. I'll put this as 317. This is put this to 817. This is 812. So this was the profile for today. Again, normal shape. Nothing special here. We're still trading above that thin air zone. Really can't get back into that area. Touch this high volume node right at the almost we traded and rejected right above this little composite, this weekly's. Actually, I wouldn't say composite, but I mean it is a composite, but we ended up rejecting the lower prices, which was the value area high for this week. This contains Monday and Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So again, it really wasn't much here. Again, we had this little excess. I believe this is referred to as an excess. But yeah, I mean, really not too much here. Just a lot of just a lot of trading around this high volume node up here at the top, which is quite bullish. I mean, we're breaking out. We were bear flagging. We ended up breaking out, and now we're just balancing higher and higher. We're balancing at the prior day's highs and doing a little excursion above, and we're continuing with the balancing and excursion, more balancing and then excursion higher. I mean, it's a typical bull trend from the experience that we have. So it's very nice on the bull side. Really not too much to show there. I didn't say anything about the prices, so bear with me. Want to make sure that we're actually saying these prices just to build that habit. All right, so yeah, we ended up rejecting the 920s and traded up into the 200. So a little over almost 300 points of range. Just very nice overall. So they were able to hold the 900 area. Couldn't really get above the 200. All right, it's good. I wanted to get that. Now we have our ES. It's gonna be the same situation here. This is our contract premium. I'll double check. The June contract expired at 54.72. I believe was the settlement. So as of right now, well, we kind of selling off just a little bit. We're at 54.73. So we ended up closing above the prior settle, which was in the prior week of this Japan issue that we're having. But this zone we already had created. This was just a high volume node that was low at first because of the contract premium. We kind of sat here for a while. Now we're revisiting this area again. If we fall below, we're gonna have to fill in this gap that we made from that bull flag and this impulse up from this week. So this isn't on the most volume, so we could very well kind of eat up some of this structure from this week. So something to be on the lookout for, because we haven't really had much of a break, but the market can go to great lengths. You never want to put limitations on the market. So I've learned that. All right, so good. We're able to look a little in depth on the market profile, our daily candles, our footprints as well. We understand that this was a lighter range day, lighter volume day. Let's take a look at how we actually traded around the SOC. I have this in this view. These are the 3-minute candles for RTH for the past 10 days. This goes back to Monday, which is August 5th. This was the sell-off day on Sunday. We gapped down very heavily and ended up holding extremely well. So just a little more context of where we're coming from. Monday, let's do this. So yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, close. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And again, these are massive ranges, but you know, just bear with me. But we have a break, a retest, and a hold. Break some more, and we're holding. Break again, hold in this range. Sell off to this lower area. Again, we had more excursion overnight. I believe we came down somewhere here, if I recall. I could be wrong. After this one sell-off day, which was a Wednesday, we ended up gapping up, holding, and just channeling upwards. 1, 2, 3 days. Gap up, and still channeling up, and still channeling up. Same situation here for the NQ, just a little bit different structure. So this is very nice. It's typical like bullish behavior that we're seeing. I mean, we've gone up. I mean, it's been almost 300 points, if not a little bit more than 300 points there. So just very nice, very, very nice. All right, we'll zoom in on the ES. Again, we already have our zone here, but let's do this full session just so we can have a good reference. Keep this consistent. Okay, awesome. So we open up on Sunday with a nice trend up close, and we open up with a small gap up, sell off a little bit, close that gap, and just two-way trade around the VWAP as we waited for CPI. This is going to be like a do or die moment. You zoom in, we can see our candle here, and it is pretty bearish from what we were seeing, at least in real time. But we needed to gather more information. So as we waited for the RTH session, notice that we shoot down, big impulse up, and kind of drift open. So again, that's just nice to see. As we open the RTH, we shoot upwards. I'm gonna go ahead and close this because we know where we are contextually now. We open up, shoot up, get rejected, massive candle down, and we hold it up. Lower highs, lower lows the entire time until we get kicked out of this range. As soon as we get kicked out of this range, we ended up trying to test this VWAP, ended up closing, massive engulfing candle to the downside, kicked us out of this range. We have one more with some pullback to it. Nice little stuff. Possibly a reversal candle here on like a 5-minute or a 15-minute, whatever time frame that you're looking at, and then a very nice impulse up through the IB low. So again, this was it's looking like an open drive, maybe open rejection reverse. Open rejection being the SOC high, but open drive kicking us back out of this range to see what liquidity is below here. We found some buyers, but not enough on the first leg. We tried again, completely break through from this zone here, and we just rolled up the 5 smoothing average the whole time until we had a big engulfing candle that broke that momentum. Tried to hold it, another one, and basically just went back to this IB mid to see if we can find some support. Tried to find some support, rejected the IB high. I'm assuming this got people excited, but then just more of the same balanced two-way action. Again, we've been seeing this whole week, really since Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of like last week, or Thursday, Friday of last week for the most part. Just real stubborn bull behavior, which is just very nice. We just ended up closing the day balance right above the, I'm sorry, let me zoom out. We ended up closing, technically this was a neutral extreme, I believe. I think you have to close a certain percentage like out of the high, if I recall. But we poked above, we poked below, we poked above, went back to balance, ended up finishing above. Extremely nice. We did take some trades in this area here. Again, you can look at our prep. I won't belabor it here. Same situation is going to be going on here with the NQ. Exact same situation, two-way trading. We ended up breaking our low, very, very much so. It was much more bearish here on the NQ side, but the same behavior of the open rejection, possibly like open drive, tried to find some support, broke a little lower, nice leg up. But this was a bit weaker on the next leg. We kind of just melted to the side. Couldn't close above our RB high. So this was a very balanced day. So that pretty much concludes where we are. We'll go ahead and leave it at that for now. I did have a couple of notes that I wanted to go over, so you can just bear with me one moment. All right, I've already went over well, one of the three, which was to just look at the RTH sessions. I wanted us to look at that together and just see how we were moving. Very methodical, very stubborn, and to just look for just look for ways to buy. Just look for places to buy at this moment. We don't want to have a particular bias, but we do want to align ourselves with the people that have the momentum. I do remember the quote, the bears make headlines and bulls make money. So I'm learning not to try to go out in spectacular fashion and try to get these sell-off days like we had last Wednesday. This is nice and everything, but I mean, if I can consistently just size up and score and get some base hits on these little balanced days and maybe end up above the IB high with a possible drift up into the next day, I'll take it. So that was for the RTH session. We have the note that we are back into the premium, which I went over that as well for the prior month, for the prior contract. So again, that's just a good sign that we're moving onwards and upwards, and we're not regressing backwards. And then the last note is again just a reminder of the bullish control that we're in. We're seeing balance, trend, balance, trend, balance, trend, low volume, low volatility, drops in VIX. We're seeing breadth. We're seeing rotation. We're seeing negative reactions to CPI off as expected data, selling off initially, but closing above to end the day. So just from a narrative standpoint, we're having news that is as expected, ending higher for the day, and especially with this being for financials. I understand the implications of like our bank succeeding and finances doing well as a whole. So I would imagine that has some validity to the strength of where not necessarily the economy, but this is just one data point, but it looks good for finance to be doing well. I don't know if that's a reach or not, but that's what I see. I will say I don't think bears are fearful yet. I don't see panic on the short side or the capitulation yet. This could get really bad, especially once we get above the 5600s, and we are only 130 points away, and that can really be one day. But again, let's not lean too much to the bull side. Let's remain objective. I do look forward to doing our homework tomorrow. We're going to leave our drawings here and get some rest. All right. Thank you.